name is Jared. I'm one of the 3 co-founders at WeCast. And what we're building is an automated talent agency and a job platform. To give you an analogy, what Airbnb did for people's homes, we're doing for people looking for jobs in the $23 billion a year media and entertainment industry. We started 10 months ago, and in that time, we've had over $1.5 million of jobs listed on our platform. We've done over 150K in revenue, and we have 21,000 users that we're paying less than $1 to acquire. So in those 10 months, we've actually proved profitability, and that means we've had more revenue than we've had operational costs. And we've done this without raising any funding. So just to address who our customer actually is, so we've had over 400 bookings, and that has been with brands like Adidas and Airbnb, but the customer that we're most excited about is actually the advertising agency. And one of the interesting metrics, which I didn't touch on earlier, is we have a 95% booking repeat rate with these customers. And I'm going to share an insight. So basically what we've discovered is advertising is changing. There's a growing need for brands to be more inclusive and representative of real people and different communities. And our platform, actually I'm just going to share a story, so hopefully I have time. The first customer we ever had was Airbnb. And Airbnb basically came to us looking for a real-life same-gender couple that had an interesting experience using Airbnb. They were going through traditional processes, couldn't find this person, and within about 6 hours we found them 8 real couples, and we booked the Airbnb campaign. And just to address the problem, essentially only one way exists for people to get access to jobs in this industry, and that has always been through your traditional talent agency. If you don't have an agency, you just don't have access to this type of job. And because there's only one way, it's generally pretty expensive. And just leaning into the customer side, these agencies aren't necessarily always representing the type of person that these brands are looking for. So our solution is a web platform and the relationships that allow people to manage their own careers. To explain what makes us different, we're accessible to more people. We can find people in any city, anywhere in the world. We actually have a great story about a Trevor Noah body double, but I probably don't have time to share. And also we have automations and algorithms that allow us to be more efficient, price ourselves more competitively to your traditional agent, and ultimately we can save advertising agencies and brands about 20% on their talent fees. Just to give you an overview of how the platform works, essentially jobs are onboarded onto the site. Our system will find and match people that are available, suit the brief, and then the system facilitates transactions, contracts, bookings, and payments. The contracts are really interesting because that takes a very long time, and a huge value proposition is we can do that instantly. To look at the market size, I'm just going to address the 23 billion serviceable market. So that is essentially the human job opportunities that we are going for. Looking at the growth, the digital content is the number we are very interested in. We actually have a great case study of a company that has investment from Mark Cuban and Ashton Kutcher. We work with them on an exclusive basis for all their social media content. And yeah, this ultimately leads us to a 5.75 billion net revenue potential. I'll get to the full model in a bit. I won't have time to do a survey. I'm sure every single one of us has a Netflix account or has watched a Disney movie. And as you know, there's a war on content. People are doubling down on content spend. And this is really expensive and a growing market. And we're leaning into the cost-saving side. So our business model is a 20% rev share. The average booking that we estimate is $950. There's about 4 million jobs available around the world. And with our average booking fee at those jobs, we see a 3.8 billion net revenue potential. Looking at future offerings, next year we're rolling out shoot locations, which is already in beta, as well as opening up our platform on an enterprise software as a service for brands, which would bring in MRR to the business. The competitive landscape, if anyone here is an actor, there's casting networks, backstage. The main problem here is people pay a subscription fee, they don't have access to high-value jobs, and there's no representation.
I think you just have to search one after the other after the other.
Exactly, there's no screening. We actually spoke to a customer yesterday and they were...
No filter.
Exactly. And on the traditional agent side, it's more expensive, and they're only representing people like in a very boutique way. So we represent more people, a different diversity. And then on the digital agent side, there's a company called Swipecast, but they mainly focus on the fashion industry, and we just have better screening and filtering for our customers. Why now? So the first thing is people are wanting to be more online, people want more empowerment when it comes to their career, and advertising and media production is changing. People want different people, and everyone's looking for more cost efficiency. That just leans into the Netflix, the Disney. People want better return on investment. This is our team, okay, co-founder, having experience in the industry over 20 years, CTO and business development, and he's raising $750K for operations in the US.
All right, cool, I gotta go into questions, sorry man.
No worries. Questions?
So what has been your profit to date, and how long have you been operating?
So we've been operating for 10 months. 150K was our revenue, and our profit's been about, I'd say between $10,000 and $15,000 profit.
How are you building relationships with the ad agencies who are really the hiring parties in most of these ads?
So it's actually interesting. So advertising agencies weren't our initial customer. We were going for the production companies and studios. And then what actually happened, we were working with the studios and their main customers, ad agencies, and they actually started approaching us. So Ogilvy was the first ad agency we worked with. They came to us, and now we have a direct relationship with them. But in terms of general customer acquisition, we will set up meetings, go sit down. There's not a lot of customers, but they have a high lifetime value. So it's worth our time to go take meetings, sit down with them, and form that initial relationship.
And how are you finding the population for the site? Is it word of mouth or?
Word of mouth has been our biggest driver.
I guess recommend you send someone to you.
Oh, thank you. Good. Yeah, it's been word of mouth. So obviously our users are on sets, they're going to auditions, they're always meeting other people that are potential users, and we give them codes, they sign people up. We actually just built a built-in referral system now, so word of mouth.
So you currently have a 10% profit margin. How does that change as you grow larger?
So it's actually 20%. The 150K of the 1.5 million is basically the 10% of the market that we're capturing. So that's what gets listed on the platform. We're transacting 150K basically of that so far. And the way that translates is looking at the 10%, we see the more users that we get, the more relationships that we build, we get a bigger database and we can start servicing more customers, building that 10% out to get a bigger market share. We don't see ourselves changing the 20% at this stage. We're just going to start adding the enterprise dashboard, which we would charge the big agencies and studios to use.
Yeah, can you comment on your curation process? How do you actually do the matching?
Sure. So users sign up, they add basic information about kind of jobs that they're looking for, the rates that they would work with, and we also capture their previous work history. Then when the brands upload jobs, or jobs get uploaded, they have a certain set of criteria, and the system will first filter based on like key requirements, for example, like age, city, availability, and if you've done a job for another similar product in the past, you would be disqualified from basically doing a brand for Adidas if you did one for Nike. And then we basically filter on other like character types. So a brand can say we're looking for a surfer. We filter people based on their surfing experience.
So if they get chosen, do they do a contract with the company?
So yeah, it's a per job contract. We just added now contracts that our users can sign, 7-day contracts with us, which is defensibility for the user side. But if you book a job, you'll get a per job contract with you and Adidas that we've
But if they
facilitated.
go beyond that and they don't cut you in, you're a marketplace.
So you're saying the brand tries to bypass us?
Correct.
So the brand wouldn't try to bypass us because we don't charge the brand like other competitors do. So they're not actually paying another 20% on top of their fee. There's no cost to work with us. We alleviate all the admin. We take away the risk. So if you're Adidas and you want to transact with me, say 50K to be on set tomorrow, it's not worth the risk that I don't show up because your entire production basically depends on me being there. That brand wants someone to be, a certain party to be responsible. And for that reason, they'll go through our platform because we provide surety basically for
Very impressive.
Thank you very much.
Are you pursuing any other verticals, or is this the only one? Because it strikes me that this is effectively a human capital marketplace, right? And maybe you guys are the most first mover advantage folks with more bells and whistles, you know.
Great question. So right now, we have the relationships in the industry, and we're starting off just with film production and media. So it's people now, but we are going into spaces, as mentioned, with shoot locations. But it's definitely something that we're looking at in terms of offering the management of people in other spaces.
The market for extras is probably bigger than the market for talent or advertising, and in that, the contracting, the payment, and all that is a huge issue.
Definitely, and that's, I mean, the extras is essentially our low-hanging fruit. It's really simple to do big bookings. There's lots of people, and because we automate that, we can do that in a much quicker time frame. So
That's actually a very, very big market.
we actually just did a job now for, I could probably say, for Love Island, and we had all the extras as well as people featured. Yeah, they're doing a promo in Cape Town, so it's interesting. So most people either go to an extras person or a traditional agent that is like the main on-camera person. But with us, they will go get the traditional, like the main person, the extras, and so we basically can service the whole job. And that's kind of the long-term objective, is to have every single person on set through us, every location, every crew, every creative.
Are you a C Corp in the US, Delaware?
Yeah, so C Corp, in a way.
Thank you very much, Hermann.